Hello, I am James Lott Jr. This is Extra Connections Race Talk Edition. We do talks on race throughout the year, but especially during Black History Month. And this is something that's been coming up recently in the news and on the TikToks and the Instagrammies and all that stuff about George Lopez and his stance on helping younger or newer Latino comics. He takes a stance that you shouldn't help them. He broke the way for himself, and they should learn the same, pay dues, and find their way also. While there are others who are criticizing that and coming out with all kinds of stories about how rude or mean he was to them. Paul Rodriguez is another Latino comic, talks about encounters with him and how he likes to tell it. So it's a big thought, and I thought about this in terms of Black History Month, but also Latino, Asian, other communities that I grew up with, where you're not the majority or have major power in a certain industry. I feel like there's something to be said about that in relation to helping others. Now, myself personally, James Lott Jr., I will help people if they. My criteria is low. My criteria is very kind of simple. First of all, if you're nice to me and show you respect. Two, if I feel like you're a hard worker, that can be subjective, and also people go, well, what do you think is a hard worker? I know what I think. I know what a hard worker looks like. I don't care what anybody else says. They can throw things out, but we all know people who work hard. And you can label it however you want to. We all know people who work hard, but someone who's really just striving to learn their craft, trying to get better and better, doing all the work, and is willing to do all the work, which they can. Also, talent. I'm sorry, I back people who are talented, who I know they're good, because my name will be attached to them if I suggest them or something. So for me, it's very much my friends, mentees, mentors. Where I have people around me who are really good at what they do, and I promote them, or I say this person would be good for you. This, and people do it to me all the time. Um, I also have no apologies. I say if you are Black or Latino or Asian, which is what I grew up with, culture I grew up with, I will come to you first, more likely to help you out. I'm here to serve if I can. Now I'm going to do all the work. I kind of see what George Lopez is saying in some ways. I don't do all. I'm going to do all the work. I mean, I did the work by being the first one out there, and whatever I was doing. You have to kind of stop the work to get there. But I think sometimes someone giving you a chance. Every situation is very different, of course, and nuanced. But I feel like sometimes there's situations where, myself, I need someone who's above me to see my value and my worth, to just give me just like the next level, at least in front of the room. I tell all the time, get me in the room, I'll do the rest. I'll make sure you're proud, make sure you don't look crazy. I remember at jobs, I would get applicants, of course, and I lived in a place where it was not that Black. So occasionally a Black applicant would come in. I was like, oh, okay, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. And I took a little extra care on that one. And I'd hire them. And if they didn't do well, I would admit I would be harder on them a little bit. So I feel like we're the only Black folks in here. I hired you. We got to represent. I used to, that was something that I carried with me. I know I did. More so. But I held everybody, of course, no matter what race, to a certain standard. But I did look at my Black folks and okay, I brought you in. But I also didn't hire people who came in and were just like, want me to hire them just because they're Black. I said, no, there has to be, again, I have my criteria. There has to be some talent, hard work. I have to feel like you're going to come in and be an asset to whatever it is you're doing. There are a lot of folks like myself out there who are working very hard and just can't seem to get a leg up or just the next step, or in front of certain people, just to kind of move forward and have some forward motion. So I have no problem assisting those folks. I think it's a time honored tradition of the village. I do a very much of a village mentality person. And I'm a person who believes in the elder statesmen, the elder people help the younger people, and people in the middle help both. And we're all there to kind of share wisdom. And there's all kinds of help, not necessarily getting you a job necessarily, but also just some mentorship, just kind of telling you, this is what I've learned. Let me share this with you. This may work for you. Here are some tips of maybe how to get into somewhere. Because sometimes it isn't even that you actually can make something happen for them. Again, it's about, you may just have a door that you can open for someone, that it would just take forever for them to get through. I don't know. I'm very much, but I'm also very much a community minded person. So whoever's in my community, I'm going to help. But I will always try to assist other Black and brown people, especially Black and brown men, women, um, to get ahead and get opportunities. Once you're there, I'll get you over there. Once you're there, then show me and show them what you can do. You can go from there. That's kind of how I look at that. So I for me, it's a no brainer. It's just how I had kids, so I raised them, and I try to make sure I help get them all the tools they need to get to where they have to go. And and my girl, we didn't have her work during high school. We wanted her to focus on her studies and her sports to get into a good college, which she did. That was a choice that we made. I had to work in high school, and I know how hard it was. So you could say it's good, bad, different, whatever. But I like the way she's turned out, and she's a hard worker and is raising her family. So I mean, it's I don't know. I'm such a village person. I'm just like I'm a village person. That sounds funny, right? In the Navy. I'm such a person who's about community and group that I can't help it. I see people who are trying to, working hard and trying to get out there. I'm going to assist them. So this is going to be really interesting because the George Lopez stuff, all the flack he's getting, people are like, Sandra Bullock, help get your show on the network. So you accept it from her. Like it's just this whole cycle. It brings into question a lot of, especially for people of color, where there's very few spots. Do you take it and go, do you feel threatened by someone else coming and taking your spot? Or someone else, usurping you and doing better? I still have those little insecurities here. I go, I'm seeing someone they gain the interview that I haven't gotten, and they've been here less than I have. I felt that, oh, okay, you've been in this 3 years, I'm in for 8, but you got the exclusive interview. Okay. And I know I'm good and I could do the interview. I've seen that. And it does bite and it hurts. But you don't know what factors go into it or whatever. But it's just kind of those things you do feel smells like, is this young person's coming up? They're hilarious. I don't want them to outshine me. That could be possible. That's like that goes into play a lot of times for stuff. And sometimes it's the people who are in charge. You perpetuate. We call the crabs and barrel mentality. We'll pick you. You're the one Black person we're going to pick to be the hot comedian this summer. Which you're in every movie, every ad, everything. You're it. And so then you believe it, and then you're making money, and you don't want to lose that money and split it with anybody else. And it's not really your fault. Not really. But someone else did that. Or I hear female comics say there were times where they were the only female comic on that. They wouldn't hire anybody else. So it wasn't actually the comic that's like saying don't bring in other women, but they only would hire one at a time. So it's I don't think it hinders people's growth if you help a little bit. You don't have to give them everything, but sometimes in certain situations, it's a lift up. And just to get a lift up, it's a bringing in. That's all. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So I will always help people out. I'm always going to, just because that's how I do. I'm James Lott Jr. Let me know what you think. I love you guys. Let me know what you think and tell me how you feel about this. Because I just think I don't know. I think helping people it's like makes the world go round. But again, I'm not a person who believes everybody should get a trophy. I'm a total Gen Xer. There's no ninth place. It's just that you have to pay your dues and stuff. But I don't think helping people is bad for you or anybody else. And this business has long memory, especially in this business of show business. People remember, and people's positions change all the time. So you never know, that PA could be your producer. AlotofHelp.com is the website. I'm a certified life coach. You can hire me for a session or two to try me out if you want. We do it through Zoom. A lot of help's on Facebook. And I will talk to you next time.